Good evening, Donka Shane, and hola, ¿cómo está? This
Buenos
is
noches.
Buenos noches. This is the Four Valley Boy podcast. I am your host and moderator, Fabian Big Side. I have Big Straw, Ryan Anderson with me. Got my cousin doing a guest appearance tonight. Cuzzo, shot producer. Tony has the night off tonight. We are going to be talking a lot about baseball. We're going to talk some baseball with Dusty Baker getting it done. NBA Rewind. We were going to talk about Heat tonight with Tony. That's one of Tony's favorite movies. So we're going to push that back and talk about different world. But before we do that, there's one thing that we do before we get on the show.
Let's know what we do, babe.
What we do?
Tell them what
What
we
we do?
do. Show them what we do.
Hold on. Let me see what we do. Hold on. I don't know what we do. I forgot what we do.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Oh my bad. Let go.
Hit the music.
Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, boys, yeah. Hold on, we them boys. Hold on, we them boys.
And we are here live. This is the Four Valley Boy podcast. As I said, of course, you know what our show do. We are sponsored by Just for Men. Got a little gray in your beard like me. You got to find the right color. Don't want to get that brown. Your finger be looking like charcoal. You want to get that right number 57.3. That right black, just like Mike Lowry did on Bad Boy for Life. You got to get that right color. Just for Men.
Mike Lowry.
Mike Lowry. Of course, you know our shows on Sundays and Wednesdays at 9:05 p.m. Of course, this Wednesday we'll be off this Wednesday. Sprite is gone as a sponsor. I got to talk to him again, so we'll see what happens. BuyANiceShirt.com. Of course, if you need any paraphernalia for your paneling at 9 or your HBCU, they will get you right. BuyANiceShirt.com. Bernard Ingram is a Fort Valley alumnus. Support his business. BuyANiceShirt.com. Got some great stuff on there. Of course, you can follow us on Facebook for Valley Boys. You can follow us on YouTube for Valley Boys Podcast. And, of course, Shot's favorite sponsor, Hennessy, the dark liquor.
The dark liquor.
The dark liquor. We want to give a shout out to Horatio Major. It is his birthday today. We don't know the age, and we're not going to disclose that because we don't know it. So, Shot, happy birthday, man. Happy birthday, dog. We want
Do
to say
you
happy birthday.
think he's happy, though, from what happened yesterday?
Man, that's not my business. That's not my business. He stopped being a Hurricane fan, even though he still got season tickets. So
Yeah. That was ugly.
that was terrible. Guys, tell me about your weekend. Straw. Tell me about the week. How's it going?
Man, my weekend was good, man. Georgia picked up a good W. We got tired of disrespect and showed them where the real the reigning defending national champions what we do. And it was good that now we just got to finish up Mississippi State, Kentucky. Get ready. We're going back to this natty. It look like we're gonna get a chance to defend the belt, and everybody else gonna have to, like Ric Flair used to say, everybody else gonna have to walk that out. Ooh.
Same thing with me, man. That Georgia game was I've never been so proud of those guys because the team is like a new team basically on defense. They showed up, big time, and then my Rattlers, man, we done won 7 games in a row, so I'm happy about that. It'll be 15 games at home in a row, so we might make the playoffs. Hope we don't make the playoffs because we might get embarrassed again, but you never know. And in the big city of Cairo, we had our class reunion for the decade of the 90s. So it was great to see everybody from 1990 through 99. The first year we ever did it, man, it was huge for Cairo, about 300 people. Not a big community in Cairo, but we had a good time, man. So everything was great.
For those that don't know, Anna told my cousin on my dad's side, and I was born in Cairo. My mom and dad were born in Cairo, so most majority of our family is still in Cairo. So it's a small town, but it's rich in football history. My uncle used to play for the syrup maker back in the 80s. So if I would end up staying there, I probably would have been a syrup maker. I probably wouldn't end up going to FAMU if I would have been down there. So, but I'm gonna say my one last thing because Anderson, we do on Wednesday we do partner shots. On Sundays we do one last thing. So I'm gonna say my one last thing from probably the best weekend of my life. The best weekend. We'll get to that in just a minute. But without any delays or ado, let's talk about a World Series. We had Dusty Baker finally get his first World Series after being in baseball for over 50 years. Can you imagine doing something for 50 years? Can you imagine doing something for 50 years? 58
And I
years.
can't do nothing for 2 hours to my 50 years to stay on topic. 50 years, bro. But Dusty, man, he's a lifer, man. I mean, Dusty. Dusty been manager for years. Played. I mean, everybody knows Dusty. I always talk about my best friend Willie Harris. He talked about Dusty. I saw him this weekend, and he played. He's from K. Played for the Braves and the not Astros. Jesus, the Braves, the Nationals, the White Sox. When he was the White Sox, he coached for the Cubs now.
Gotcha.
So when he interviewed for the White Sox job 2 years ago, and he called Dusty Baker, and Dusty gave him some pointers or whatever. So he said Dusty's one of those great guys, man. What you see is what you get with Dusty. And I watched the World Series. I was very upset because my Braves went in it, but I was cheering for Dusty even though he was with the Astros. I was still rooting for Dusty, man. It's always good to see one of us, do something great, especially a sport like baseball when there's not many African Americans at all in the sport. I mean, you might see somebody with our skin tone, but they're probably from South America or Curacao or wherever like that. So hopefully Dusty, win the championship can breathe new life in the next African American baseball players because the last draft, I think what it was, say the first five.
First 5 out of 6, I believe, were African American players.
Were African American players, yeah, which is great, man. So I love baseball. So I'm happy for Dusty.
What about you, Straw? We talked about that on the podcast a couple weeks ago, a few months ago, about the draft, and that's something we always talk about on the show. Where are the black players at? But what does it mean for what Dusty went through when you go from 0-2, when he was up 3-2, and his bullpen gave up a 4-run lead, then losing Game 7. Then the next year you're in Chicago. You end up going to Chicago, I believe. You're part of the Bartman controversy.
Wow.
Then you go to the Reds. That was just, I guess you get some checks going to the Reds.
Yep.
Then you chilling, and the scandal happens with the Astros, and he also interviewed for the Phillies job. He interviewed for the Phillies job when Joe Girardi got hired for it, and somebody told him like that you might not be the right fit there, dog. You just wait. The next week, Houston called him. That's when they fired AJ Hinch, and the rest is history. LCS World Series berth, World Series champion.
Well,
3 years.
One of the things I did not realize, and this goes back to your original point, Faye, that man been doing it for a minute. Dusty Baker Jr. is 74 years old. 74 years old. The retirement age is what, 63, 65?
65.
65. So that, if anything, it teaches us, and it should teach kids to do something that you love. Because that man has a love for baseball, and it just carried him, and perseverance, and just carried him to finally getting a World Series. He was with the Giants for Lord knows how long, like you were saying, and he was with the Cubs. But man, I'm so happy for Dusty Baker. My aunt reads a lot, and my aunt was telling me that he has a lot of literature out. And it's always encouraging. It's always encouraging, and that's just one of them things where it's I'm just so happy, and I'm proud to be to be one of the culture, and to just be one of the people that has watched him ever since I actually really followed baseball. To go through all that just shows a lot of perseverance, a lot of things. It may not come when you want it, but it's on time. That just goes to show. So big up to Dusty Baker. And I know his phone is ringing off the hook from former players and former other managers and coaches that he's worked with. But yeah, shouts out to Dusty Baker. Congratulations, sir. I know you don't listen to this podcast, but still.
Yeah. He started his career with the Braves in '67. He was on the outfield in the Texas League in Austin, Double A team in '67. He was served in the Marine Corps Reserves for 6 years. As a transport mechanic. 68, he called up by the Astros, then played for the Braves, went to the Dodgers, then closed out with the Giants. Had to stint as a stockbroker, started some minor league jobs, then got a possible job with the Giants. Got on with the Giants. Roger Craig was the manager for the Giants. That's an old name we ain't heard in a long time. If you're older than me, Roger Craig was a long time manager for the Giants. Got fired. Dusty got hired. Of course, remember the year that the Braves and the Giants in '93, they went at it. And was it '93, '91, trying to remember. I think '92 was Bonds' last year in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's a '93. So yeah. So he went to the Giants because of Dusty, because of his dad, and because of Willie Mays' godfather.
Right.
But that's was first year manager. Amateur probably remember this. You said you're a long time Brave fan. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. The Braves and the Giants played in a series in San Francisco to decide the winner for the West, the AL West. The Braves were in the NL West.
Back when the Braves was in the NL West.
NL West, yeah.
The NL West, yeah. That was stupid. That was stupid.
Well, the Falcons was in the NL West for a long time.
Yeah, that was stupid. That was dumb.
No, the St. Louis, the Arizona Cardinals won the NFC East.
Right.
Yeah, that was stupid.
But just remember that series where Bonds, I think Maddox struck him out. He had that cut fastball. This the play. Let's see. This the plate. Try to see it. This the plate. The ball cut like this right into Barry's inside third of the plate right here. And Bond knew that was a ball, but they called it a strike. And I like, Maddox got you, dog. That was a strike. That's one thing you don't see Barry do is strike out a whole lot. You do not see it. And if Greg Maddox could strike you out like that, and Greg Maddox didn't have nothing past 90, 91.
No, he was a cerebral pitcher. He was a location guy.
Yeah, that's why in '97 when they played, I believe they played the Marlins in the NLCS or the DS. That's why their strategy was you got to get Greg Maddox on the first pitch, no matter what. Whatever the first pitch is, you got to attack him. If you don't attack him on the first pitch, it's a wrap. You're done. So just remember in that series, then the struggles with the Giants going through, and him and Jeff Kent. That dynamic he had to deal with him and Bonds. Bonds didn't like him, but he was on the baseball the simulcast with A-Rod and Michael K. They were saying Barry was saying, we know we talk about Dusty, but somehow we got on Barry Bonds, but it is probably the top 3 greatest baseball player of all time, but that's neither here nor there. He was saying, I'm gonna protect Jeff. I didn't like him, they didn't get along. Because guess what? Barry was hitting behind Jeff Kent, and Jeff Kent hit 45 home runs and won an MVP. Really, Barry should have got the MVP because he protected you in that lineup. But anyway, but just the fact that the first time a African American coach manager has won the World Series in 29 years, Cito Gaston. Look him up. He went back.
Hey man, we're not gonna talk about Cito because I don't remember those times.
Because he beat your Braves and he beat the Phillies.
Yeah. Knock that out. We're not gonna talk about Cito.
Yeah, David Cone was on that team too. They had a great starting lineup.
Dave Stewart too, right?
Dave Stewart. Yeah, they had a hell of a start.
They had Alomar. They had
a hell of a
Dennis Erickson on the team. Yeah, Dennis Erickson on that team too.
Who?
Dennis Erickson, played for the A's, the sidearm pitcher,
closer.
No, I don't think he did.
Dennis Erickson?
Yeah, Dennis Erickson. Thank you. Dennis Erickson, yeah.
You mean Eckersley?
Yeah. I'm from Wiggum. I'm from Wiggum, Fave. You know how I be with my tongue. I'm from Wiggum.
I'm looking it up now. Believe it or not, Jeff Kent was on that Blue Jays team. Roberto, I'm gonna give you the main starting five: Joe Carter, Dave Winfield, Candy Maldonado,
That's
Roberto
some names there
Alomar,
already. Those are names already.
John Olerud, Pat Borders, and then the bench: Jeff Kent, Derek Bell. Can I interest you in a Greg Myers? Can I interest you in David Weathers, David Cone, Al Leiter, Jack Morris, David Wells, Juan Guzman, David Steed, Todd Stottlemyre, Mike Timlin, and Tom Hinkie.
They make it
Those
seem like, you said Jack Morris. They make it now. Wait a minute now.
Jack Morris, that same Jack Morris that won in '91 with the Twins.
Twins,
The same Jack Morris.
The one they made the movie off of.
That and the one
That ain't the same. That can't be the same guy.
and the same one that got fired from Detroit making some insensitive comments.
Okay, that's understandable.
That's the same one.
Okay.
Not a bad at Kyrie, which we'll talk about in a minute, but but yeah, this let me go. That's a 92 team. 93 team looks about the same. Let me look. That you didn't want now data. That's you didn't want now data. This like Dave Stewart was on the 93 team. Dave Stewart was on the 93 team. Carlos Delgado. That name sound familiar?
Yes, sir.
He been playing for a minute if he's still playing. So but that's a nice roster right there. I wouldn't want to Seal Gaston. I want to see what he doing with his life now. Seal Gaston, born in Texas, so he's definitely African American and he's American. So just managed the last time he managed was the Toronto Blue Jays in 2008, 2009, 2010. Came back, so he had him on the right track, but but that just let you know if you just give us a chance. Ron Washington was another person that should deserve another chance. Ron Washington, he was 1 out away from winning the World Series, and his team wet the bed. So they're playing the Cardinals, and they played the Cardinals, wet the bed in Game 6, lost Game 7. Then next thing you know, Albert Pujols throws away his career, goes to the Angels. I'm gonna give you a hot take. I want to call me if I'm crazy. Just tell me if I'm crazy now. If Albert Pujols would have stayed in the NL, he would have stayed more healthy, and he would have broke the all-time home run record.
I can see that. Because he went out to Anaheim
2011.
And man, that was, I think more than anything because I live in this area. One thing about when you live in this area here, we have the Redbirds, which is the AAA team for the St. Louis Cardinals. So they cover a lot of the stuff out of St. Louis here. Seeing as we don't have a major league team, that was almost a money grab, and people were sad to see him go. But the machine being who he was, it was one of those things where you just wished him well, and he went on about his way. But I really believe if he would have stayed with the Cardinals, then he would be pushing it. He'd definitely be pushing on. Be right there because we celebrating his 700 home runs, but he'd be definitely pushing on. He'd definitely be pushing on that record.
Am I crazy, Anatole?
No, I'm not crazy. I was just thinking about something. Do you think baseball has turned from a batting average league to a home run league? Because I was just looking, I'm a Braves fan, on the team I watch. I don't think nobody really batted 300 on the Braves this year. They won 100 games. And it's like Albert Pujols, he's amazing, man. I mean, he's freaking amazing. I know I got off topic for a hot second, but Albert Pujols was amazing. But it's just like, for me, for a long time, the AL was like the boring man league. You can DH. Not everybody DHs, but you can DH over there. So Albert Pujols, I think he was DH in Anaheim a little bit, and he probably got a little bored out there. I mean, he should have stayed in St. Louis. I'm not a big guy who go from team to team. If you can stay on one team, I understand there's more money out there. Everybody want to be a Yankee and make $100 million a year like A-Rod. But I mean, if you can stay somewhere comfortable, stay there. You know, I love teams like St. Louis and I mean like Big Straw. He loves the Steelers. It's like one of those home teams, like it's community team. So when you run somewhere like Anaheim, who just for the money, I don't think it really makes sense. I mean, because you're not gonna have the support you normally have. But yeah, Pujols probably is pound for pound, other than Bonds, the best home run hitter. The right way. With
The right,
talent.
the right.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
point.
I
Good
don't
point.
care what you say about Bonds. Bonds had talent. Bonds was putting up numbers before the allegations.
Yes.
Bonds should have been in the Hall of Fame. I'm
That,
sorry.
that seems
He
to be
should be.
the consensus. He was
Yeah.
doing it before the
He was doing it
allegation.
before the allegations. I mean, I went in the locker room with him. I ain't seen no syringes. I'm just saying. Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, all those guys, that's different. But Barry Bonds had serious talent.
And to go back to your point, Anatol, the last player to have 200 hits in a season, we got to go back to 2019 with Whit Merrifield with 206 on Kansas City. That's AL. The last NL player to have 200 hits in a season was Charlie Blackmon of Colorado. Freddie Freeman had 199. Freddie Freeman had 199. So that's if you go back to the 90s, if you go back all the way to, matter of fact, I got to go back to 1982. I've got one blip with Rafael Palmeiro 191, but the strike shortened season, Kenny Lofton 160, Tony Gwynn 165. Then you had a tie in 95, but just by every year, just players with 200 hits in a season. So this could be just a home run league? Could it be the advent of specialized closers, where you have starting pitchers going 5 innings, then you bring in a closer for this inning and a half, then you bring in this reliever for an inning and a half, then bring in a closer for an inning. And baseball's trying to slow that down because they instituted this rule a couple years ago where if you have if you bring in a reliever, it's a three batter minimum. So he has to face 3. If he gives up 3 home runs, yeah, he can come out. But if he hits a batter, gives up a home run, guess what? He got to face that third batter. So that's one way that they try to curve the some of this reliever by committee or bullpen day, which I've seen in the last 5-6 years. A lot of teams, especially going to the World Series, they have a bullpen game and just try to set up their pitcher rotations. Like for instance, I want to say the year that
the Dodgers won.
Dodgers won it. That's 1 year.
Yeah, I remember the Braves put a reliever out there for like 4 innings. I was like, what is this? What is this?
Yeah, the same thing. Then see what was the 21 Braves won 21, 20 Dodgers won it. 19 was the Red Sox.
Astros.
No, Astros won it in 17. No, the Washington Nationals won it in 19 because the Red Sox won it in 18. So a lot of these teams going to these analytics. That's the one thing. And the baseball is the most stat-loved sport,
Right.
because those are the most beloved numbers. When you think about football, you're not going to think about 550 touchdowns or 5,400.
Right.
That's now baseball 714, 755, 401, 200 the Mendoza line, and that's what makes the sport beloved. Now they need to change with the time, like quicken the game. Doubleheaders need to be 7 innings. I like that, so you don't have to stick around, stay late for those games. The pitch clock is coming next year. Like I say, we probably talk about Dustin Baker, but we done morphed into some things that baseball is trying to do to catch this next generation, and we talked about this. So,
yeah,
and that's something we can probably delve into next year. Probably next year around March, April. Just talk about some baseball, some moves that need to be made. Like the pitchers probably, like the Braves need to get another starting pitcher. The lineup is solid to me. Acuna came back mid-year, so that's going to be he'll be fine next year for the Braves. Dodgers, they're hurt by the guy that has been suspended for 2 years for that sexual assault allegations. Forgot his name, but he's been suspended for 2 seasons. So the Dodgers wasted money on him. That the money is tied up while he's suspended. So they need another pitcher. They needed Clayton Kershaw on his last leg. So just a lot of things about baseball. But bottom line is, Dusty Baker, congratulations. I hope I would actually I would go ahead and retire. If he can still can do it, go ahead and do it. But to me, the Astros need another hitter though, just another hitter and one more pitcher. But if he retires, he's deserved it, and they should skip the 5-year rule where he has to wait to get in. If you don't get in on the first ballot, shame on you, baseball.
Yeah, and I mean, golly, 74 years old, bro. 74 years old. You need to make an exception for this gentleman. Make an exception. Let's. And I know we still got them old writers that want to do everything about a book, but man, this man has been put in 50 years with this league. He's made it through the Steelers years. If that ain't enough, let's just go on and put him in. Let's put him in.
I agree. Just put him in and just call it a day.
Now, y'all know baseball Hall of Fame is very flaky. Derek Jeter didn't get. I mean, he got in the first ballot, but some voters didn't vote for him. So baseball Hall of Fame is a weird place.
The reason why they didn't vote for him because we knew he was getting in.
Yeah, it's a weird place.
Because Mariano Rivera, I think, got in on 100%. I believe. I think he's the only one that's got in 100%.
He's the only one. Yeah, the closer for the super duper closer for the
Yankees. And then if you think about it, Ken Griffey Jr. had 97%. I think it was they're saying because we knew he was gonna get in, we didn't need our vote, but we want to try to vote for somebody else. I get that, but if it ain't for Bonds or McGuire, don't waste your vote. Especially Bonds. I mean, Bonds was a Hall of. I know we still on baseball. Dang, this is the long we talk about baseball.
Hey, let me say this real quick, Faye. I just pulled it up too. You're right. Mariano Rivera is only 100%. Cal Ripken Jr. 98.5%. Cal Ripken Jr. Come on, man, that's crazy. Baseball. Tony Gwynn, Hank Aaron, Randy Johnson. These guys like in the 97s. This is crazy, man. This is a crazy place. Yeah, I see why we don't play baseball.
7% of the league is African American, so only versus the 90s where it was 17. But that's neither here nor there.
Babe Ruth 95%.
I bet probably because he left the Red Sox. That's probably why. Let the Red Sox go to the Yankees. They traded him. That's crazy thing. The Red Sox traded him.
Yeah.
They traded Babe Ruth. They didn't want him. Probably because they found out he was black. You think about it, he had a big old nose, big lip. Yeah, he black. Where the lie at? Okay, let me hush. Okay, 28 minutes of baseball talk. We good. That's enough.
That's enough.
That's enough for the rest of the year until
the rest of the year. Unless something stupid happens in baseball, like something stupid.
They close it out. And that's our baseball portion for the year.
All right. Our baseball was brought to you by Hennessy and Coke, the dark liquor. All right, there you go. All right, let's talk some NBA, y'all. Let's drop some NBA before we get to a different world. Because our team is the Lakers. I grew up a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I'm having a hard time reconciling that the ladies Lakers suck. But at the same time, I mean, the Golden State Warriors sucking too right now. So I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm good with it. Anatole, what are we you know what? We talk about the Lakers too much on this show too. What team has impressed you so far, and what team are you thinking like, really? This is what y'all going to do this season?
It's easy to say this, but the Bucks. I mean, will they lose a game this year? They look freaking awesome, man. I mean, the Bucks are doing their thing. Milwaukee has impressed me. I'm a homer, so my Hawks look good. I don't want to talk about the Lakers right now. But I mean, Anthony Davis took 2 shots today in the second half. That's like how did it happen? You're supposed to be like a top 20 player in the league, top 10 player in the league. But Cleveland Cavaliers are looking really good. And I seen somebody else on the West that I saw. Zion Williamson. He's looking like the first pick of the draft. He's looking pretty good. But Golden State has really shocked me. I know the Lakers are disappointed, but Golden State lost what, 4 in a row, 5 in a row. They lost
That
five
road
in a row. Lost five in a row.
that road trip was terrible.
Yeah, they lost 5 in a row, and it's weird because I just thought it was gonna be, you know, 60 plus games. So they've been kind of confusing to me, kind of like the Rams in football. Like, what's going on? That's how I feel about Golden State Warriors. Like, but yeah, that's where I'm at. The Bucks and the Cleveland Cavaliers are looking awesome.
Big Straw. Oh, Anto, who's your team? Hold on, Big Straw. Who's your team that's you thinking like, what the hell going on with this team?
So Golden State.
You already said Golden State. Golden State.
Yeah, and it was the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers, but everybody else. I mean, and I'm gonna say this though, really, Philly. I thought Philly would start better than what they started. I mean, I think they were 4-4, 4-5,
4-6. There it is on the screen.
Oh, thank you there, Mr. Vicks. Yeah, I ain't know Mike. See, I haven't watched the Heat, but hey man, the Lakers and Golden State looking horrible.
Milwaukee 9-0, Cleveland 8-1. Go ahead, Big Straw. Who's your surprise team?
The two teams that have really impressed me so far, and I'm gonna keep saying this until they just go and like we talked about the Udoka situation. I'm surprised that the Boston Celtics have come out like they've come out. Cleveland, I'm surprised, but then I'm not surprised because they were getting their stuff together last year. And they're building upon that. Milwaukee, they're the team that was supposed to play Golden State last year, and they feel like they're gonna show everybody. Those are the three teams that I think that have started out like gangbusters. I think they're playing well. And them Lakers, like I said last week, in the words of Clayton Bisley, they stink. They stink. I'm sorry. They got 2 wins, and we were thinking that this losing streak they started the year with was going to go a little longer, but I'm glad they picked up 2. Still surprising me Golden State is not playing, but I believe Golden State will right the ship and they'll end up getting what they got because they'll end up back where they need to be. They'll run off a few in a row once their shooting comes back and they get hot again. So
there you go. You see you on the screen right now, Big Straw. My biggest surprise, Milwaukee, we knew they're gonna be good. And Matt, and keep in mind now, they're doing this without Middleton, I believe, right? Middleton ain't played yet.
So that means so you don't want that goes to cohesiveness and how everything's gonna roll. I really think that that chemistry, if that's a touchy thing. You get Middleton back. Are you going to be better? You going to keep it going, or it's going to take you a second, so you drop a couple of games in order for you to, what I'm saying, to get everything back right. Look at them Grizz though.
Yeah. Now the Grizz look good. My 2 things is Cleveland Cavaliers looking right. Donovan Mitchell was a great fit.
Yes.
For Cleveland. He's a great regular season fit. Let's keep that in mind. He's a great regular season fit. Great regular season fit. Everybody talk about he did this in the bubble. I'm not one to bash the bubble, but at the same time, you had the same hoop, the same ambiance, same line of vision, line of sight on your shots. Of course, you're gonna drop 50. Like old boy TJ Warren, he game busters in the bubble too. Until he broke his foot, been out the last couple years. We ain't seen TJ Warren in 2 years. But I mean, Donovan Mitchell,
he's still in the bubble. They left him in the bubble.
He left the whole foot in the bubble. And my other takeaway is the Clippers. If we could give the Lakers this much hell about being this bad, Houston, we know they're gonna be bad. And I think Paul Silas' son is gonna be fired after this year, just because. I think he's gonna be gone this year. But the LA Clippers, you are probably the deepest team in the NBA. You should be able to score points easy without Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
You're 5-4.
Well, At least they 500. I will say that they got a long road to hoe too.
The only two games behind the Suns. Only 2 games behind the Suns.
So I mean, 2 games out. It's the season's still young. We about 10 games in, so season's still young. You still got 70 something, 60 something, high 60s, 70 something, 72 odd games to play. So I mean, they got a ways to go. Hopefully, basketball is a game of runs, and that's the thing that's going to be. Somebody get on a good streak, and they'll take over. One of the things that former Grizzly coach and Hall of Famer Hubie Brown used to say was, you don't look at the whole thing. You break games down in segments, and you break them down into five game segments, and you try to get the most out of those 5 games. So if you got a 5 game, you want to break it down. So okay, so out of these 5, let's try to win 3 or 4, and we'll go. Then the next 5, let's try to win at least 3 or 4. That's your goal. You break it down like that, and that's how you end up with these with good records. If they taking biting off more than they can chew, looking at the whole schedule, then they destined to count. They are destined to fail. It's just that stuff.
It just, I get it. Like when we get to Christmas, that'll be about a third of the way there. About a third of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And when we really look at the season, Tony has said that since the season started, and we just gotta just hope that something changed.
Oh yeah.
Anatole stepped out, but right now I'm bringing back in Anatole. I'm bringing back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out right now, who is your MVP right now? Anatole and Straw, who's your MVP right now?
I go first. Luka the man. Right now, Luka, boy, he putting up points. I'm not sure he can do it for 82 games, but right now, boy, Luka is made for TV. I mean, when Luka come on TV, I'm stopping everything. I ain't watching no clothes. I ain't getting no baby. I got an infant, so I ain't watching the baby. I'm watching Luka. I ain't no Mavericks fan. That boy is. I remember, man. I never forget. We always say, man, Larry Bird gonna do that in today's time. Man, Luka is the slowest joke in the NBA, and he putting up 35 every night. Luka is the man.
I like Luka. I love Luka. I'm gonna go in and give it to. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Giannis, because Giannis got them boys without loss right now. So I give it to Giannis right now. And I'm not a Giannis fan, but I respect what he is doing with the Bucks and what they're doing. I'll give it to him. But Luka, going back to your point, Anatole, man, that shot he had the other night. Oh my goodness! That only one other person that I know. Well, maybe 2 other people that I know that could probably do that. That's MJ and his former teammate in Dirk Nowitzki, because he was shaking, baking, and like you said, he ain't the fastest dude, but he sure had.
Yeah, right now I'm looking at maybe Derek Booker. I can see Derek Booker right now as an MVP, but
Devin Booker.
Yeah, I'm looking at Devin Booker, Giannis, of course, but nobody want to vote for Giannis for third time in 5 years. They got the LeBron and Jordan syndrome, where we already voted for you for this many times. So I'm just, I'm looking.
It's a change.
I gotta I know I'm gonna get this is a hot take. Mike gonna cuss me out. Anatole, I got a trade for you. Got a trade for you. Got it in the trade machine. You want to take a look at it? You want to see it? Here it go.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh wow, that's great.
Can't hear you, Anatole. Can't hear you. Oh, you connected. Connected your earpiece.
He muted. That's wild.
Try
I
now,
lost my air. Man, I left out, but I lost my AirPod.
man.
Hey, you can't trade AD, man. I'm not finna get into that with you and with you and Mike, man. Look here.
Wow.
You know who I would trade, but I won't say his name on TV. I text you who I would trade from the Lakers page, and you know who it is, but I'm not gonna say his name on your show. But I wouldn't trade that guy. You
That
know what?
took
I'll trade
me.
all of them. I would
Right
trade.
there,
I would
that
trade all three of them.
that guy right there.
I'm not gonna say his name. I would trade that guy.
Scroll back down because I want to. You had the wins. How many wins it equated to?
Oh, they could get one extra win.
Wow. I see you doing more than that. I see you doing more than that. Gosh, and you know what? I think Westbrook actually played well the other night. He actually played well. He may not have played well today, but he played well the other night. He's actually had a decent performance, and he just gonna have, he gonna have to come back. He gonna have to come back inside of his stuff. He gonna have to.
This lineup, right? I mean, you got depth, you got shooting, and you got size. Daniel
That
Tyson.
ooh, that's a nice trade package. I like that. They not. You might want to send that one off to whoever's running the Lakers and see if they entertain that. I don't know if all teams, because Harrison Barnes going to the Pacers. Harrison Barnes is a journeyman anyway. Herder, good shooter. Uh, when he was with the Hawks last year, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think he was. I
That's the
think he
white
was.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a nice trade. I like that. I like that. If that's what your intention is to just get rid of Russell Westbrook. That's a nice trade pack. That's a lot though. That is a lot because you're getting rid of De'Aaron Fox, who is the man in Sacramento right now. You gonna get? They not gonna go for that. That's the only reason. That's the main reason it's not gonna happen. De'Aaron Fox is the man in Sacktown right now.
Is it though why y'all keep drafting guards like Davion Mitchell from Baylor? And then you'd had Tyrese Halliburton the year before, and then trade Halliburton and Buddy Hield to the Pacers. That makes absolutely no sense. But let me screen this. Let me screenshot this trade. I'm gonna get yelled at, so it don't matter. I don't care.
Hey, I had no opinion. Tell Michael I had no opinion. And I'm a Laker fan, but we need some help.
My opinion is unbiased.
I mean, I'm just looking at it like you. The one win. I don't even look at the wins because I'm looking at the coach. Mike Brown, not a good coach anyway.
Mm-mm.
He's not a good coach. He's a great assistant. He just had LeBron, and you got fired. And then what happened? You had Kobe, and you had Nash, and you had Dwight Howard. And what did you do?
Dwight Howard was soft. Kobe said Dwight Howard was soft.
Yeah,
Kobe didn't like nobody though. Kobe
Kobe loved himself and loved him. Okay.
he
Hey
like
man, don't
out
do
of this.
that.
You talk about soft
Don't do
people.
that.
He played with
Kobe, your classmate.
He paid now.
He my classmate. He came a year after I did. He 96. I was 95.
mm, Kobe played with Pau Gasol. But when Pau Gasol was here in Memphis, uh, that was one of the things that was always questioned was his toughness. And then they made that huge trade and pretty much decimated the team here and gave the Lakers a championship on the silver platter. But if you want to talk about Saul, that was one of the things that was always questions about Pau Gasol and his toughness. So if you want to talk about somebody being soft, Pau Gasol probably the softest player that Kobe's ever played with. But they won a championship, so you can't even.
I don't know. It's just Lakers need to do something. What they gonna do with them two draft picks, 27, 29? LeBron will be retired. AD probably gonna opt out, go somewhere else, get hurt. So you might well move him, and then you could probably take back. You could probably flip that 27 for a 24 or a 23, especially from the Sacramento. I mean, because you getting off Sacramento. Let's see, you get helping Sacramento get off of like let's see, 28, 42, 60 something $1 million in cap, and they're gonna have a bunch of room. They still gonna suck, but they're gonna have plenty of room to tank. So not gonna matter. So just saying,
we had the perfect team. LeBron just wasn't patient. I mean, we had Bi. I mean, I would take, Lonzo, my guy. Lonzo was coming. We had Josh Hart. We had pieces you could build on, and LeBron wanted AD, and I like AD. I used to like AD, but now he missed a glass. I mean, every time he fall, I get nervous, man. It's like this kid is like, as this guy I know in my city, say he's soft as pie. He's sweeter than a pound cake. You can't do nothing with him. Get him up out of there. You know what? Yeah, make the trade, Fade. I'm gonna call Gina tonight. I'm gonna call. Send me the screenshot. I'm gonna call Gina. We're gonna make the trade tonight.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you got depth. You get rid of Anthony Davis. You go into the pace of Rick Carlisle's the coach. Rick Carlisle hasn't been out the first round since they won the championship in 2010, 2011. So, just saying. I mean, if I really want to make AD, man, I'll trade him to the Brooklyn Nets and get KD straight up.
They ain't gonna do that. They won't do that. Anybody.
I'll trade either that or trade him for Kyrie.
I'll take Kyrie. I'll take Kyrie and Kanye in LA right now.
No, I'll trade. Now, how about a KD for AD? Now, AD for KD and Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas not playing anyway. He got more burn last year than he did this year. Decent 3-point shooter. Length. To youth at the 3. Just saying.
Good proposal. Fade. Good proposal.
I'll get cussed out by Mike tomorrow, so it don't matter. I'll probably get cussed out tonight. So, all right, that's our basketball talk. Let's get to our last topic before we holler at y'all tonight. There was an iconic show that's a spinoff from the Cosby Show called A Different World. Of course, it focuses on the travels of students at a fictional HBCU, and it did more than just educate us on HBCU life and culture. Educate us on the importance of HBCUs, and we could talk about the show. I've seen all 6 seasons, and I've seen it. I've binged it a couple times, and the one thing I can admit to, I always skip season 1. I watch a couple episodes of season 1, then I skip all the way through. I'll go ahead and go to season 2 because I hate to say the one thing about season 1, Denise was not a strong enough character to carry the show.
No, I admit that. Yeah, I will be the first to say that. I watched season 1. There are certain episodes that I love about season 1, but it really wasn't. I don't think she was directly involved. It introduced the characters that are iconic. The Dwayne Waynes, the Ron Johnsons. Different people, and then you see reoccurring roles from actors and things that have affected her. You know what I'm saying? That they were on the Cosby Show that actually affected her directly. But it was always good, and if anything, that first season was a how not to do college, if anything. Because she was always late on something, or she was always forgetting a paper, or it was just that season 1. That first season was like, okay, we got this out here. What's going to happen? And then as it went on, and her personal life went on, that's when you could see it kind of winding down. To be honest, after that first season, by today's standards, after she left the show, outside of Bill Cosby probably telling them, I want a second season, I don't know how they got a second season just based off the first season.
Debbie Allen.
I'm glad they did, though.
Debbie Allen, that's the reason why. Think about it. Debbie Allen had cachet with NBC.
Yeah.
From Fame.
Yeah.
So that and her sister Felicia Rashad, of course.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, they are HBCU grads, and of course I think Bill Cosby with a Temple, I believe, with a Temple for all his degrees.
Bill.
I don't think
Your bill with the Temple.
did he go to Temple or did he go to Temple or did he work at Temple?
He got his doctorate from Temple. I know that, but I don't know what his undergrad is at.
Okay, because some of the things that we hear about him. I think he got hit. I think he was one of those people that went to college even though he got a GED, if I'm not mistaken.
So he got he got a doctorate from University of Massachusetts.
UMass.
UMass. Let me look at his let me see. He got a bachelor's from Temple.
Okay.
And he got his master's and a doctorate from University of Massachusetts Amherst.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the crazy thing. You wouldn't for somebody to be drugging women.
Hey,
lying. He showed
allegedly.
He did it, but
let me say this about the first episode, first season. Let me cut you off of Different World.
Yeah, go ahead.
I went back and watched it a couple of, I guess when we was in the hospital having a baby and everything, and it was everything I remember. The only thing I forgot about that Jaleesa and Denise's roommate was she was white.
Right.
Which I had no problem with HBCUs to have white people, but like she was like white, and I said, well, I forgot about that. Like, were they trying to have a white person on the show to make it inclusive or whatever? But I never understood that. But I always thought it was the best show ever, man. I want to go to Hillman so bad. Denise was my girlfriend growing up, so I mean, I told my parents, man, I'm going to Hillman, and they were like, you can't go there. I'm like, why? I'm going to Hillman, But it was a great show. I mean, it was everything, man. It was everything. All the way. I watched every episode all the way to the end. To this day, I watch it. If I think it's on Disney Plus, or no, it's on HBO Max. So I watch
HBO
it
Max,
on yeah, on HBO Max. So
HBO Max and on Amazon Prime too. It's on Amazon Prime also.
Yeah, on all that. Yeah.
But,
great show.
But yeah, the first season just the first season walked so the rest of the show can run. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah.
And when you, like I said, when you actually started bringing in the fraternities and the sororities, and you start bringing in like the commons, like the pit, the stuff, places like that. I mean, then you started delving into social issues, and with you had Tisha Campbell Martin with the episode where she had AIDS.
Yeah.
You had teen pregnancy, not teen pregnancy. You had a woman that's going to college, almost about to graduate, but she had a child. Jaleesa, a non-traditional student, getting out of a bad marriage to Tommy. His character, folks don't realize Tommy was on the show. You look at Walter Oates, RA.
Yep. And baseball coach. He was a coach too.
Yeah, brought in the Lad Dragon with Date Ray.
Yep. He was a I think that may have ruined that episode with him on it may have ruined his acting career.
I can see that because of the 80s, and then you're being portrayed as that type of character.
Yeah,
I can see that. He had just smaller roles. I want to say he was on NCIS or something like that later on, but I can't remember. But you look at that. You look at the disparity in women and men's rights with men sneaking a woman in the dorms, that type of stuff.
Yeah,
it's the thing we deal with now. He's being cheered. The women being like, "No, that's not fair. He don't get in trouble, but I want to sneak a man in. You treat me like this." So with that aspect, brought in some interracial with Keanu. It just a wide range of diversity on this show that folks don't realize that encompasses the HBCU living off campus. The struggle of living off campus, of your parent cutting you off, like with Whitley. She had to get a job, all this stuff, trying to figure out, find yourself, and you about to graduate in 4 years. Do I take this 5th year? Do I do this 5th year?
Whitley parents going through a divorce as she in school. I went through that, it's not always easy as it seems, because I was in the band I was in the band. I went to Morris Brown, Big Straw at first, and my parents went through a divorce while I was at Morris Brown, and that kind of affected me. You know what I mean? Even though it was the right thing, they best of friends now, but it was the right thing for them to do. But it affected me because that's all I knew was my parents being together.
Right.
And my dad, Fabian's uncle, was one of those guys. If Morris Brown band was going, if we played somebody on Jupiter, he was gonna be there. And my mom and half of Cairo. You know what I mean? That's how it was. So when them going through a divorce, it was tough because like it'll be a game, but like, well, where's your mom at? Where's your dad at? Everybody was looking for him because my parents were so engaging with everybody. So yeah, I mean, so I watched different world. Like I say, when my wife was having the baby, had the baby, and I was like, man, a lot of those things that when we was younger, we didn't understand what was really going on. But like that time at Morris Brown really taught me a lot about growing up. And after I watched the show, I was like, man. So I have a daughter who's 18, so I'm making her watch the show now because it's very groundbreaking. I mean, it's like it's like one of the best shows ever, man. Like that. I mean, Bill get a bad rap for what they alleged that he did, but I talked to Bill, man. Bill ain't do that, man. Bill ain't do it. Bill ain't do it. But yeah, man. I mean, different world. Let me hang up the phone. Hang over the live. I'm gonna go watch it tonight, man. I'm gonna go ahead and pick it back up on season 2. Can't watch season 1 no more. It was horrible.
One of my favorite episodes, and we talk about how groundbreaking it was, and we talk about social justice. There was a fictional, Hill went against a fictional PWI school.
Mm-hmm. That was season 5. That was season 6, I believe. Yep.
And I think Ron and Dwayne had Ron had got a car from his dad from one of the dealerships, and he ran to a couple of Caucasian brothers, and they end up being a whole issue about that and everything, and black versus white and how that worked and everything. They end up getting to a fight, and that was something you didn't talk about. You didn't talk about that, but they brought that type of stuff to life. You can't judge a book, because I think the whole episode was like, you really can't judge a book by its cover. Because when they end up going to that holding cell, that gentleman, the officer that was there, was actually a guy that he said had probably marched with Dr. King. So that was still at the end of everything. That's one of them powerful, groundbreaking episodes, man. But that whole series was just groundbreaking about how things go, because it transformed. Remember when Dwayne Wayne had the flip top glasses looking geek? By the last season, he's a professor. Get ready to go to Japan to take the job at what was the software company?
Kanishiwa
Electronics, so he could do his game that him and Ron developed. But during that time, I mean, you saw him go from this geeky kid that wanted to date all the girls, talking about cheesesteaks and all this stuff, to now he a professor hanging with Crisscross doing a summer pro. You know what I'm saying? It just encompasses so much, and you see the characters develop over time. That is why I loved it. I also love the guest stars and the people like I was telling you last week, Faye. I mean, Jesse Jackson was on that show. We just talked about The Last Dragon. I forget the guy's name. Tamar. He was on the show. Jennifer Lewis, who is famous for being everybody's mama, was the doggone
Dean or something.
She's either the dean or the resident president of what, you know what I mean? And it just, Tupac was on the show. And Jada Pinkett Smith was, we saw her grow up on the show. Just a lot, man. That's a lot, but it went through so many issues. And I know I'm rambling. Do you remember the first fraternity that they had on there? It was a fictional fraternity.
Kappa Lambda Nu, right?
Kappa Lambda Nu. And eventually, by the time those later seasons came on, you start seeing more of the real Divine now.
Mm-hmm.
Just amazing, man. That's a part. That's definitely a part of our culture, and we got to show that to more and more kids, especially nowadays, man. Got to show it to more of these kids nowadays.
I'm still mad Dwayne Wayne dropped line on Hell Week. Like you finished, bro. I mean, you finna be Capilano new. You know what I'm saying? You right there at the end, my brother.
At the end, he said, "I'm not doing it no more."
Yeah, that was crazy.
And that's real life right there too. Folks just to a point where like, you know what?
I'm sick of it.
It's sick of it, and it's not really worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great show, guys. Got one last thing before we go.
I got one last thing. If it's okay with y'all.
Go ahead, bro.
Shout out to Fabian Vicks, man. He said in August, the first week of August, that Alabama would lose 2 games before Atlanta. And he was right. We all laughed at Fabian. We thought he was crazy. I said, you know what, Fabian, I take somebody to me, my cousin retarded. I'm sorry for using that word. I mean, I know it's insensitive, Fabian, but I said it. So I might lose a sponsor for saying that, but I thought you was crazy. But I thought this was going to be the greatest Alabama team of all time with what they brought back, with the offensive workers they added in the portal. They're horrible. They should have 4 losses. So my one last thing is salute to you, my brother. You are. I need lottery numbers for next week. I know you know them already.
I'm trying to figure out because if I win that 1.9 billion, you would not see me not another day on this earth. On God.
Just send me $20. That's all I want. $20.
I'm not saying I'm dying. I'm not saying I'm dying, but I'm saying this show will be canceled.
Just send me $20. $20. All I want. 20.
You just say I'll shoot you 20, but yeah, this show will be canceled. The Michael understand. Y'all won't know why. Like, what happened to Faye? He just disappeared like Martin Dangerfield at Fort Valley. We still looking for him. I've been looking for him for like 20 years. Go ahead, Straw. You got one last thing. Straw, before we go.
Not really. Just want everybody to tune into the Fort Valley Boys podcast on Wednesdays and Sundays. And as always, as I tell everybody else, everybody out there, continue to stay safe, be blessed, be kind, and always, always be good to one another.
Yeah, my one last thing I teased there. I said this is probably one of the best weekends of my life. Of course, I went to the Fort Valley State University, and we've been on a slight losing streak. Coaches changing spots and COVID. And last year, I think it was just a destiny year for Auburn to win this year anyway, because one of their students was killed in a car accident last year, the week of the Classic, that Monday. And a lot of us have said, I know my friend Ricky Moss, we said, we know it is not the time to be cracking jokes. So I said, I'm going to take it one step further. I'm not going to say nothing about Auburn. I'm not going to say anything about Auburn. Not anything, any team. They're just talking junk. So they posted records. Yeah, we won this many game. Like, if you look up the history of Fort Valley, I think they played 87 times, 48, 34 and 4, 42, 39 and 4. Fort Valley has the edge. Neither here nor there. So they feel like they're entitled, like another demographic that feels they're entitled on different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, 2 Americas. Yeah, we'll say that. So anyway, the Fountain City Classic, one of the biggest classic games, in HBCU. Of course, you got the Bayou Classic and you have the Magic City Classic, Bethune-Cookman FAMU Classic.
Bethune who?
That college down there in Orlando with Disney World.
Daytona.
Daytona.
Yeah.
Y'all play in Disney World, right? Y'all play in Orlando.
We play Disney World. Yeah. The FAMU Classic, what we call it.
Who won last year?
We did.
Oh, y'all did. Who won the last 2 years before that?
Last 13 years, 12 years with them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, our class was yesterday. Of course, neither one of us going to the conference championship because Benedict has a stick this year with their team. They 9 and they believe they 10-0, and all the Albany folks posting stuff all week. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna respond not one time. When that final score hit 31-21, I got memes from 8 years ago. I'm still hold on to. Editor, am I lying? Am I lying? So I'm gonna show one right quick. I'm gonna give a shout out. This is the only time you ever see me give a shout out to Albany State on the show. They call themselves the unsinkable. They call themselves the unsinkable Albany State.
Oh,
So
wow.
this
And the reason why, because their school had pretty much what drown phase in 93.
Flood 94, flood 94. So Fort Valley, they were all right, but they didn't do us right. So Albany got a brand new campus, all that money. So a couple things. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all a couple things right quick before we go. This is one of my memes. This is a new one I made today. I made this today. Cause they beat us 57-0 last year, but they was on emotion from that just one of the students dying. So I don't have to hear about this right here. Mark say hear about 57-0 being unsinkable. And this other one right here, if it ever pops up right here, if it ever pops up, that's us right there. That's one. That's another one. That's a good one right here. That's a Lord and Savior checking on the darn friends. And that's what we're Davion. Ray Charles donated to Albany State. He probably could see who would donate, so he clicked the wrong one when he donated. For another friend, I made it for Davion right here. Little Daryl right there. And this the one right here. That's the one right there. That's the one right there. That one.
Oh.
That's that one right there. The unsinkable. The unsinkable.
It's a lot of hate. It's a lot of hate in your heart for that school, though.
Hold on. I got some more for you. Here's one right there. Here's another one. This is the best one right here. This is classic right here. You can't beat this. It's classic concentration. You can read that straw.
Oh my goodness.
What it say? What it say? What it say? Tell for the folks in the back. What it say?
Oh, I can't read it. Hold up.
Yes, you can. A baby sheep is a what?
A baby sheep is a lamb.
A ewe. A baby goat is a ewe. Baby
You
sheep
went
is a ewe.
to.
You went to Albany State.
Albany State. You ain't.
Albany State. You ain't.
Ooh. Oh God, y'all with it. I can't say that about my alma mater because they lost the classic to Alabama State. So we'll gear up. I'm gonna have to gear up for next year for when we play Magic City Classic. But we'll get at it. I'm gonna have to bring some of them back. Make them myself. I had to get my machine going. That's a good one.
Yeah. So win or lose, but I say, you know what? Let me just take a break and breathe. Let me just go through the archives, go through the playbook, make sure my plays are correct. I think one year, they try to blame me for shooting the meme, making the memes for why the football team loses.
Wow.
Yeah, you did too much that year. You did too much.
I'm like, I'm not the one calling the plays. I'm not the one on the field. So don't blame me. Blame your players. Don't blame me. I'm alumnus. I'm supposed to do this. Y'all supposed to back it up. Y'all didn't do what y'all supposed to do. But that my one thing. Just 364 days from now, I can have this in my, so somebody come wrong, I just pop one of them memes on there. Like then they try to say we beat y'all like for that fold. We still have the overall record. It don't matter. And stay on topic when we talk about y'all lost this year. Stay on topic. But we want to thank you for watching the show tonight. Of course, like on Straw said, you can follow us watch us on Sundays and Wednesdays. And of course, this Wednesday, we will be off on this Wednesday. We're taking the Wednesday off. So we'll probably come back on next Wednesday, backed up, but we're gonna be ready to go. Of course, you can follow on Facebook, follow us on YouTube TV. We are out.
Vote Tuesday. Vote on Tuesday.
Oh, vote on Tuesday. I sure forgot to talk about that. Vote in the words of Barack Obama, my cousin, vote or die. Vote or die.
Amen.
Vote or die.